All right, welcome along. So this week, I wanted to share with you guys 10 things that helped me in business. Perhaps those 10 things or some of those 10 things will help you as well. Maybe they will give you some ideas of what you could do, what you could improve on, what you could change perhaps in your business, etc. And maybe later on, you can share some of the things that helped you in business, or maybe that you can relate to some of these 10 things that I'm going to share with you today. So let's go ahead and take a look at those 10 things. So first thing is consistency. And what I've noticed that almost anything will work in network marketing, almost any strategy will give results if we use that strategy consistently. Meaning that a lot of people don't get results in network marketing, not because they use a strategy that doesn't work, but simply because they use a strategy that works too short. That means not enough, right? They don't use it for long enough, right? They start and they hear, oh, I heard this strategy that a leader uses. They try it for a few days, they don't get result, they abandon it. They go for the next strategy. They use that for a couple of days, don't get the result, get rid of that too. And they keep jumping from strategy to strategy, wondering why they're not getting the result. Sometimes people do the same thing with companies, right? Jump from company to company, hoping to get the result eventually. But actually, it's all about consistency. It's all about choosing a course of action and using that strategy over and over and over. And I've noticed first was when I started doing my live broadcast. I told my mentor, I'm going to start doing this consistently, because when I was doing it inconsistently, I wasn't getting much result from it. So I decided to do it every single day, and I started seeing results. Then I started seeing that in other areas of my business and even in other areas of my life, when I choose to do something consistently, meaning every single day, I start getting results with that area. So it's really been a huge key to my progress in business, exactly using the consistency. Second thing that helped me a lot is absorbing information. So, especially when it comes to attending training events or watching training videos or reading books, there's few ways how we can do it. I've seen a lot of people in network marketing sort of do it, read the books as if they were reading some book, right? Romance book or something. Or when they watch a training, just watching it as a TV series, as a TV show, meaning not taking notes and not taking advantage of those things, right? So whenever I go to a training, I always have my notebook with me, and I'm taking notes like crazy. I'm writing everything down, what I could use, what I could teach, what I could share with my team, etc. If I'm reading a book, I'm always reading a book with a yellow highlighter, and I'm marking the pages, I'm marking the best ideas so that I could easily go back to it and pick off the best ideas, whether for my own use, whether to share in my training, or whatever it is, right? So again, being able to absorb that information has helped me greatly in business, because it allowed me to sort of digest the information and give it back to the team as a training, right? To go for a 3-day training and then come back and give maybe an hour, 2 hours training, like a summary of what I've learned, because I take all of those notes. Very often, again, people ask, they say, Gediminas, how do you come up with all of these ideas for videos? Like, how do you never run out of topics? And that's exactly why, because every time I watch a training, or I listen to an audio podcast, or I read a book, I'm marking ideas of what I could share on my videos, on my trainings and things like that. The third thing that helped me a lot is diplomacy, right? Which means not getting into arguments, not getting into fighting with people and things like that. Always trying to stay neutral, always trying not to get involved, right? And look, there's going to be people who will upset you. There's going to be crisis, and there's going to be people who maybe will try harm you in all sorts of ways, etc. And that can happen, right? But as soon as you go down to their level and you start doing the same thing, let's say somebody's bad mouthing you on social media, and you go back and do the same to them, you go down to their level, right? And then your reputation goes down too with that, right? Your image goes down too. So best thing is just to always try to keep good relationships. If it's possible, if it's a toxic person where, it's just impossible to communicate, then you might have to make some drastic actions. But 9 times out of 10 is just about, keeping the relationships, trying not to, get into public arguments and things like that will help you a lot in business, to retain a good face, especially nowadays on social media and things like that. Step number 4 is providing value. Being valuable. Sometimes people say, well, why is nobody following me on social media? Why is people not liking or commenting on my post? Or why aren't people joining my team or becoming my customers? Well, sometimes the question is, why should they? Why should they follow you? Why should they like your post? Why should they join your team? Like, what value are you giving them, right? Because that's essentially why people will come to you, right? The reason why people will start following you and liking your post is if they get value from it, right? The reason why people will come and join your team is if they see that you can give them some value, right? So that's really the name of the game. Nobody really cares what we want. Everybody cares what they want, right? So if we can show people how we can help them, how we can solve some problems for them, how we can give some useful information for them, then they might want to follow us or join our team or become our customers, etc. The thing number 5 is investing in yourself. Again, over the last 11 years in network marketing, I've invested a lot of time and money in myself. The person that started 11 years, the Gediminas that started 11 years ago in business, is nothing like the person who I am today. I've changed massively, because when I first started, I was not educated. I was not very rounded around the edges, right? I had to learn all of these things. I thought that I was the, smartest guy in the world. I thought that I knew better than my leaders and my sponsors. I was the guy, right? And obviously I wasn't, right? And I made all the mistakes possible, and I, didn't get the results for a long time. And, I had to learn. But now I spend a lot of time and money investing in myself all the time, whether that's reading books or listening to audio podcasts as I'm driving, or attending conferences or courses, etc. When it was open before quarantine, we used to fly to American places, to attend trainings. Now it's mainly online conferences and courses, but I always try to better myself. I'm always trying to become a better person, a better father, a better husband, a better business leader, etc. Right? Always trying to learn and see how can I improve myself compared to last week or last month or last year. Number 6 is not giving up after failures. And you know what, guys? Over the last 11 years, I've had a lot of failures. I've had a lot of instances where I failed, I messed up, I didn't get the results I wanted. There's been a lot of things and a lot of excuses that I could have taken and said, because of this reason, because of this failure, that's it. I give up. I'm not going to do this or that anymore, etc. But one thing that I've learned earlier on is that successful people don't give up. They keep going. And I remember when we first started a business 11 years ago with my wife, Rita, we made this vision board with all the things that we want. But the very first thing that went on that board was a little sticky note that said on it, only losers give up. And we would see that every single day and would remind ourselves that we will never give up. We will get the result eventually, even if it takes 5 years, even if it takes 10 years, even if it takes 15 years, we're going to get there eventually, and we're going to get the results that we want to get. Step number 7 is ignoring critics. Now, guess what? If you don't have any critics, if you don't have any haters, you just haven't grown big enough yet, right? Probably you are surrounded with your friends, family, people who love you, care about you, and they all just are very, very positive. They're just saying nice things to you, etc. But as you're starting to reach more and more people, right? As you start reaching more strangers, right? You will find a lot of people who will love you and adore you. But at the same time, you will find some people who will hate your guts, right? For whatever reason, sometimes with no reason at all, right? I have people who put nasty comments or do things, that don't even know me, and like Grant Cardone once said, and I liked his saying, he said, if you are my hater, then you either don't know me or I have fired you. Right, one or the other, right? And I've noticed the same thing. Like, none of people who actually know me would ever leave a nasty comment on my post or whatever. It's usually people who don't even know me, right? Who don't even know what I do or how do I do. But it's just, I think there's a group of people who it's their profession to be haters, right? And if they choose that profession, well, that's their job. The hater's job is to hate, right? So, but worst thing we can do is to allow those haters to stop us. Because a lot of people do that. They hear a nasty remark or they get a bad comment and they stop. It paralyzes them. They say, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to put any posts or videos, etc., because I'm getting this hate. But in that instance, the hater has won. That's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to throw you off course. They wanted to intimidate you. They wanted to get a reaction out of you. And that's exactly what you gave them, right? So the worst thing for a critic or for a hater is when you ignore them, when you do what you're meant to do, regardless of what they're posting, etc. Because if one hater stops you in business and you're not going to change hundreds or maybe even thousands of people's lives because of this one hater, because you know your product, your business opportunity can improve people's lives, but you're now not going to do that because somebody criticized you, well, that doesn't make any sense, right? So for me, my strategy is very simple. When somebody is a hater, I block, delete, right? I block that person, delete their comment. That's it. They're not going to see me anymore. It's not going to bother them anymore. And I'm not going to see them. Absolutely fine, right? It's not their path together with me, right? They've got their own path. I've got my own. And it doesn't mean that I'm better than them or I'm right and they're wrong. It's just they've got a different opinion and I let them keep it, right? I just block and delete. I don't get into conversations. I don't justify myself in front of them. I don't get into any discussions, etc. I'm not convincing them that, hey, but look, but this is amazing. No. I let them stay with their opinion and I just get rid of them from my social media. Number 8 is positivity. And again, who do people want to spend time with? Negative people who always complain, who always say how bad things are, etc. Or do you want to spend time around people who are positive? Of course, the second, right? They want to spend time around people who are positive, right? So especially now in the social media day of age, right, when everybody sees what you post, etc., stay positive. Be positive, be that light, be that lighthouse in their life, be that one person, whenever they see your post, they get inspired. They get motivated, they cheer up, their mood goes up. And guess what? If you become that person that people always get good energy from, guess what's going to happen? They're going to want to spend time with you. They're going to want to become part of your business. They're going to want to become your customer. They're going to want to become part of your tribe, part of your following, because they always get that good feeling from you, right? So try and radiate it. And does that mean that we're like robots? We never feel bad and we never feel, negative emotions? Of course not. Everybody gets upset once in a while. Everybody gets a bad day once in a while, but you don't have to broadcast that. You don't have to tell the world, oh, I hate this person, or whatever. Just keep that, to the side. You don't need to really broadcast that negativity out there. There's plenty of other people who do that. Number 9 thing that has helped me, and you might find it strange that actually helped me, is difficult start. I wasn't one of those people who went to a fantastic start and, whooshed through all the ranks and made all the money in no time, right? I wasn't that person. It took me ages to get to good results. It took me forever to start making money in a home-based business, right? I made all the mistakes possible. Nobody listened to us at the beginning. None of our friends or family joined the business, etc. It wasn't easy. Trust me, it was difficult, right? But I think because of that, it actually put me in a very good position. Because later, much later, years after that, I read a book by one coach, and he said that good players, natural talents, usually are not good coaches. Why? Because they don't understand how could somebody not get the result? How could somebody find it hard? Because it was so easy for them, because they got results so quickly, they don't understand how could somebody go through hassle. And the best coaches become those people who were not the natural talents. Best coaches becomes those who had to work the hardest, because they understand what it means not to get results. They understand what it means not to make money right away, right? So I think that helped me a lot, because I can emphasize with people who also struggle, with people who also don't get the results right away. And I sometimes can advise them and give them tips of what I did when I was failing at the beginning, So it sort of helped me a lot. And then number 10 is using ideas quickly. Ideas have expiration date, like the milk in your fridge. If you get a great idea and you don't use it, it goes away. The Brian Tracy calls it the law of diminishing intent. The longer you wait after you got an idea, the less chance is that you're actually going to use it. Because the idea over time, you just start thinking less and less and less of it, and eventually you never use it, right? And that's why they say the cemetery is the wealthiest place on earth, because all of those dreams and ambitions and ideas are buried there, right? Because people have never used them, right? So one of the things that I've started doing earlier on is, as soon as I would get an idea, I would try to put it in action. I would try to use it in practice. I would try to go and take advantage of that idea, because I would think, wow, as soon as I get it, and again, it says, like, if you don't use the ideas, it's like, whatever you believe, whether that's God or universe that sends you these ideas. Imagine if universe sends you an idea and you don't use it, then it sends you another idea, and again you don't use it. Then it sends you a third idea, and again you don't take advantage. Eventually, the universe will say, "Hey, what the heck? Let's not send any ideas for that person, because they don't use them anyway," right? So that's sometimes why, like, when people get older, like, have you noticed that, like, old people, like pensioners, they say, "Oh, I don't want anything. I don't need anything." Because they sort of gave up and gave up and gave up so many times in their life, that eventually they just stop wanting anything, because they just don't do anything anymore. You know what I mean? It may sound strange, but that's pretty much how it is. So we need to use those ideas as soon as they came in. Use it. It's like mining for gold. Like Jim Rohn used to say. And there's a bonus one. In addition to those 10, there's a bonus one. And the bonus one is laziness. Now, again, you may say, what the heck? That surely can't help you to become successful, right? But, I remember seeing this quote by Bill Gates, and he said, "I hire lazy people because they find better ways of doing things." You know what I mean? And I must admit, guys, I'm a lazy guy. If I can avoid doing something, I will avoid doing something. Like, if I have a chance of not doing something, I'll take that chance. So because I know that about myself, I had to create systems around myself, and routines, and commitments, and daily discipline, to make sure that I do the work, right? But because of that, again, it puts me in this maybe set of mindset, where I always look for easier ways how to do things. Instead of doing it the hard way, I'm always looking at how to do this more efficiently, how to do this quicker, how to do this easier, how to get more result with less amount of effort, how to make more money in a shorter period of time. My mind is always working like that. How to simplify the process, how to make the process easier, etc. And I think that laziness helped me to come up with some pretty cool stuff, over the years, that helped me to sort of get better results. So that's a little training for today, guys. I hope you got value from this. I'm gonna